Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're grabbing a really fascinating source text and breaking down the entire, incredible evolution of money. We are going all the way from ancient bartering straight through to modern crypto. Okay, so let's just jump right in with this massive thought experiment directly from our source. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that money just doesn't exist anymore. No cash in your wallet, no bank transfers, no debit cards, no tapping your phone to pay, nothing. If you had to buy food, how would you actually do it? How would you get paid for your work? It's kind of a terrifying thought, right? But it perfectly highlights why money is, literally, one of humanity's greatest inventions. To really get this, we're going to take an epic chronological journey where you'll see that every single era of money was invented purely to solve the frustrating friction of the era right before it. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Life before money. 2. The rise of physical currency. 3. Paper money and fiat. 4. The digital money revolution. 5. Crypto and decentralized finance. And 6. The future of trust. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Life before money.
So, dropping all the way back to the dawn of civilization, picture a world where you had to physically swap the things you owned for the things you wanted. The core friction of this whole barter system is what economists call the double coincidence of wants. It sounds fancy, but it's simple. Let's say you're a fisherman and you really want some maize. You take your fish to the farmer. But the farmer already has plenty of fish. What he actually wants is a goat. Well, if you don't have a goat, the trade just fails entirely. Both of you have valuable goods, but because your needs don't magically align at the exact same moment, the economy basically stalls out. It is incredibly inefficient. I mean, what happens when your 50 barter chickens are just way too heavy to carry, or your trade tomatoes start rotting before you can even use them?
Which brings us to Section 2, the rise of physical currency.
So humanity figured out pretty quickly that we needed a universal middleman for trade. We started using commodity money, which are objects that actually have their own intrinsic value. Think of salt, which, fun fact, actually gave us the modern word salary, or cowrie shells that were used as a massive standard of value across West African markets. But our source points out that to be good money, an object has to hit 5 very specific traits. It absolutely must be durable so it doesn't rot, pourable so you can actually carry it, divisible to make exact change, scarce so it holds its value, and, above all else, acceptable by the community.
But look, even commodity money had its headaches, right? How do you verify the exact value of a shell? Or, easily divide a live cow? The brilliant fix for this was metal coins. Around 600 BCE, ancient civilizations started standardizing gold, silver, and copper into coins that were officially stamped by rulers. Boom! Suddenly, you didn't need to weigh metal or inspect a cow's health for every single transaction. The ruler's stamp guaranteed the value, which drastically sped up trade and exploded ancient economies like the Roman Empire.
But, as always, governments eventually found a way to kind of cheat the system. Rulers realized they could secretly melt down coins, reduce the pure metal, and mix in cheaper stuff. Why? Well, so they could mint more coins out of thin air to fund these massive wars and pay off debts. But you can't fool the public forever. People noticed the drop in purity, trust totally plummeted, and prices skyrocketed. Honestly, without even realizing it, these ancient rulers had accidentally invented early inflation. And there was still another massive friction point. Lugging chests of heavy metal coins across dangerous trade routes was just exhausting and practically invited theft.
Section 3. Paper money and fiat. We can trace a massive leap in human trust over the centuries here. Early banks were basically just highly secure storage vaults. You would deposit your heavy gold, and they'd hand you a paper receipt. Simple. But eventually merchants realized it was so much easier and safer to just trade those paper receipts directly. This naturally evolved into the gold standard, where a nation's paper money was directly backed by a fixed amount of literal gold stored in a vault somewhere. But as global wars and financial crises hit hard in the 20th century, governments needed way more economic flexibility. So what do? They completely cut ties with physical metal entirely.
And bam, that drops us right into fiat money. Think about the Nigerian naira, the US dollar, or the Ghanaian cedi in your pocket right now. This money has zero physical backing. None. It has value solely because the government declares it legal tender and, way more importantly, because everyday people collectively trust it. Without our public confidence, fiat money loses its power almost instantly. But paper cash still has physical limits in our modern, hyper-connected world. You still have to physically hand it to someone in person.
Section 4. The digital money revolution.
So the friction of slow physical paper cash is basically being completely erased right now by mobile money. Just look at the massive wave of financial inclusion happening in Africa and developing regions. You don't even need a traditional physical brick-and-mortar bank account anymore. Your smartphone literally becomes your bank. Mobile money is allowing millions of unbanked people to instantly and securely trade digital value across vast distances in a matter of seconds. It's an absolute game changer for financial access. Yet, even digital mobile money relies entirely on trusting middlemen. We're talking banks, big tech companies, and central governments. Which brings us right to the massive friction point of 2008.
Section 5. Crypto and Decentralized Finance.
Back in 2008, a white paper by the pseudonymous Satoshi Nakamoto introduced Bitcoin to solve one giant problem. How do we have trust without a central authority? In traditional banking, a single bank controls and verifies all your funds. If their servers fail or they decide to freeze your account, you are completely stuck. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, flips the entire script. It uses blockchain technology, which is basically a public, digital ledger where a global network of thousands of independent computers securely and transparently verifies every single transaction. No single middleman is calling the shots.
And to combat that unlimited printing and debasement of fiat money we were talking about earlier with the ancient rulers, Bitcoin introduced this incredibly powerful, hard-coded number, 21 million. There will literally only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, ever. It relies purely on mathematics to ensure absolute scarcity, creating a system that's designed to be entirely resistant to traditional government inflation. So, what happens next?
Section 6. The Future of Trust.
Where is all of this wild financial innovation actually taking us? Well, the future of money is literally being built around us right now. We're seeing governments scrambling to develop central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, which basically combine traditional fiat authority with the lightning speed of crypto. Artificial intelligence is completely rewiring banking behind the scenes by handling automated trading and instant real-time fraud detection. We are rapidly moving toward entirely cashless societies, where your smartphone isn't just for scrolling social media, it's your absolute central financial hub. Physical wallets are straight up becoming a thing of the past.
Ultimately, our explainer today reveals one constant, undeniable truth across thousands of years of human history. As our source so beautifully puts it, money is not valuable because of what it is made of. It is valuable because people believe in it. Whether you're out there trading bags of salt, cowrie shells, metal coins, paper bills, or just invisible digital code on a blockchain, money is really nothing more than a psychological system built entirely on collective human trust. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder next time you open your banking app. From heavy livestock to invisible data floating around on the internet, money has constantly evolved to solve our everyday problems. But as your money becomes entirely invisible, existing as nothing more than pixels on a glowing screen, what or who will you choose to trust next?